Okay, so this is the game that I created. So we're going to do a basic playthrough here. I know it's looking a lot more fiery than the ground earth prompt intended, but I like the whole crap. Well, you can see right now that if I fall all the way down, then it terminates the player. So I totally did it on purpose. But the whole thing is that's surrounded by earth, and like the whole earth and fire thing had a cool vibe. These they swing back and forth constantly. If the player runs into them, then it terminates the player as well. Unintended side effect is that they react a lot to the physics. I'm gonna run by them so I can show you the rest of it. And so it's like a three-part obstacle. It's really simple. And the final obstacle is the classic Indiana Jones rolling ball. So I don't know if I can outrun it. If you don't get a good start, it's really difficult to outrun sometimes. Okay, so you can. So I programmed it to, if I were to let it hit me, it would have collided with me. It would have immediately knocked me out. But it can go through all of these areas in this wall, so that it doesn't like bounce around the whole area. And that's about it. So what I did for making this in terms of blueprints and programming was the first thing I had to do was I added a boundary box, like a collision box, like a proper collision box around the player character. See here, because I mean, it was sometimes the rolling ball would bounce out, or the swinging bricks would bounce off the weapon and it wouldn't engage, and just various reasons like the killing the player would not trigger with the normal collision. So I added an entirely new collision system. This is a trigger that I use to we'll show you back in the scene in a sec. There is, actually I can go to it right now. There is a cube right here that is basically like a pressure pad I'm using to trigger the boulder start falling. So it's just an on component begin overlap, so it overlaps the box, checks if it is the player character. When it's true, then it tells the actor that's the holding wall blueprint, because I have a blueprint for this wall back here that's literally just holding the rolling ball in place. And then it just destroys that actor. After that, I got the boulder itself, which is pretty classic. It just, if it hits the actor, if it hits something, it kills it. Death floor is also quite simple, and that's the floor that you fall into in the pit of fire. Destructible floor gave me, it's not really being used now because I found a way around it, but it gave me, I was having a ton of problems trying to figure out how to, I was trying to basically have that ball kill all of these actors on its way so that it didn't like bounce off them and destruct the roll. But I found a way to basically take this destructible floor blueprint, which all of these are just variations of the destructible floor blueprint, and have them only collide with the actor and not with the player, with the pawn, and not all other pieces of the scene. So that's what that works. I just made the projectile glow a little bit because we this floating ball, and then the swinging trap. Okay. Swinging trap I also struggled with a bit. Just trying to get the physics to work on that. But they're both identical. Let's go different ways. As soon as the game begins, they immediately just start swinging, and I used a standard physics constraint between these two to keep them swinging how they would. Yeah, that's all I did for this. It's pretty simple, but I definitely learned a lot about like blueprints and triggers, and again playing around with lighting and stuff like that.